When I was a beginner dividend stock investor, I had no idea what I was doing. I would oftentimes look online on forums to see what other types of dividend stocks people were buying. I would end up going to Google and typing in something like best dividend stocks, best high yield dividend stocks, best dividend stocks to buy now. I know what it's like to start there and not have the real key information you need to make an informed decision based on your goals and your objectives on the best dividend stocks to own. So that is what you're going to get from this video. If you already know the key elements of picking quality dividend stocks based on your goals and objectives and you just want to skip right to the dividend stocks, click on this timestamp right up here. When it comes to dividend stocks, there's not one key element that is drastically more important than the others. We certainly need to talk about dividend yield, but that's not the only indicator we need. We also need to be aware of a dividend payment history. We also need to be aware of the dividend growth rate, the dividend payout ratio. Dividend yield is the measure of how much dividend you're getting for the price of the stock. The easiest way to measure this is to take the annual dividend for a stock and divide it by the share price. That is the dividend yield right now. But guess what? That number is constantly changing. This is very straightforward. How long has this company been paying dividends? All things being equal, a company that has been paying dividends for 25 years is going to be a lot more stable than a dividend stock paying dividends for only 5 years. It doesn't mean that the 5-year dividend stock is worse or better than the 25-year dividend stock. It just means that this information is relevant to our overall decision process. Dividend growth rate is one of those key secrets that most people don't think about. It's the measure of how much the dividend grows every single year compared to the previous year. The common metrics we look at here are the 1-year dividend growth rate, 3-year growth rate, 5-year growth rate, and oftentimes the 10-year growth rate as well. Now this is the measure of how stable and safe the dividend is. The most common way to do this is to take the annual dividend and divide it by net income. That being said, I actually don't use this specific calculation because I don't think it's most relevant when we think about how a dividend is paid. It's not paid with income, it's paid with cash. So I feel that a better measure is free cash flow as opposed to net income. This alternate calculation would be the annual dividend divided by free cash flow. Really high payout ratios are an indicator that a dividend stock may have to cut their dividend in the future and that the current amount is not sustainable. However, a very low dividend payout ratio is a great sign. That tells you, number one, that the dividend right now is very safe. There's a very low likelihood that it would be cut. And then the second thing here is that it gives me confidence that the dividend will continue to be able to be raised in the future because they have so much room in their free cash flow to raise it. What is our objective? What is our goal with this portfolio? Some people are investing long-term for their retirement. Others are investing for cash flow right now. And these factors influence what are the best dividend stocks for our portfolio. We're going to look at a few key strategies here and see what the best dividend stocks are based on the relevant metrics, but I'll start with just sharing with you the 2 strategies I'm focusing on right now and the best dividend stocks that I'm looking at right now. I have both a high yield segment to my portfolio and a core dividend portfolio. So if we're looking at my February 2022 dividend stock spreadsheet, which is now available in the Patreon community and the Discord chat for those of you that are members of the Patreon community. If you're interested in joining, there's a link down in the description below. We've got a lot of information here. Let's filter down to what's most important to us. We just talked about dividend yield for my high yield dividend portfolio, so we're going to be sorted here by dividend yield. We also want a payout ratio that is stable. In here, we want to focus on the green dividend stocks here, the ones that have a dividend payout ratio based on free cash flow of less than 75%. So these are the top dividend yielding stocks that have a history of at least 5 consecutive years of dividends, and they have very stable payout ratios. Now, when looking at our growth rate, like I said, dividend growth rates are awesome, but they're not the end-all be-all when it comes to high-yield dividend stocks. Some of these dividend stocks near the top have a very small dividend payment history. Hess Midstream is at 5 years, same with MGM Growth Properties and Atlantica Yield. We have a dividend champion up here. Mercury General Corporation, a 34-year dividend payment history, which makes it a dividend champion. You'll notice, though, the dividend growth rate is very weak at 0.4%. Dividend yield, though, is very strong, 4.79%, and a very stable dividend payout ratio based on free cash flow. This one right here is in my own high-yield dividend portfolio, Northwest Bank Shares. It's in the financial sector of the economy, a 13-year dividend payment history, and dividend growth rates that are very stable between 4 and 6%, which exceeds the long-term inflation rate. Current dividend yield 5.74% with a current payout ratio of 75%. Here's another one, Hess Midstream right here at the very tippity top in the energy sector of the economy. It's only got 5 years of dividend payments, but it's got a really healthy dividend growth rate at 10.4 and 12.1%. And a dividend payout ratio that's very low. So these are 3 high yield dividend stocks. One of them I already own in the portfolio, but I definitely like both Mercury General and Hess Midstream based on their dividend metrics. Again, for the high yield dividend portfolio, not the core dividend portfolio. When we talk about my core dividend stock portfolio, we're talking about real, rich and quality dividend stocks here. We're not trying to focus on yield. We like that dividend growth rate. That is a critical part of the strategy for us. And we also want stability with the dividend payout ratio. So to capture really quality dividend growth rates, we're gonna go ahead and make all of these green. So we can sort here by either the 1, 3, or the 5-year growth rates. We can sort by, let's say, 3-year growth rate. And just to see what comes up here at the top dividend growth rates, we've got top result here, 37% for Medifast. A few other dividend stocks here on the list. Jefferson Financial Group, Broadcom, Allstate, Amgen, First of Long Island Corporation. All quality dividend stocks here, even a few champions. You'll notice it's really easy to find quality dividend growth rates here when we search this way. So when I look at this list here, I see a few names stand out, including AbbVie, which is in my own portfolio, First of Long Island Corporation, right here. I've also got BMY down here, Bristol Myers Squibb Company, in my portfolio. You'll notice here with AbbVie, we've got double-digit dividend growth rates here. And while we had to slow down a little bit here in the 1-year growth rate for First of Long Island Corporation, still very stable and really great dividend payout ratio based on free cash flow over here. Bristol Myers Squibb, 15-year history. It's got dividend growth rates at 9, 7, 5, and 7, and a 37%, 50% dividend payout ratio. You don't have to pick these dividend stocks. There are lots of them here that are great buys based on the metrics we're talking about. Let's say your biggest focus is high quality dividend stocks that have been paying dividends consistently and raising their dividend every single year for a very long time. Enter the dividend champions. Here we have all of the dividend champions that have been raising dividends for at least 5 consecutive years, but again, they're dividend champions, so these are all 25 years plus. Mercury General and First of Long Island are back on the list again here, but we've got some really high paying dividend stocks. Enterprise Products Partners, Universal Corporation, Enbridge, which is in my portfolio, T. Rowe Price Group, First Source, Universal Health, and National Retail Properties. You can also sort just by the most years of dividend payments. Here are the most stable dividend stocks out there, raising dividends for over 60 years. These are the companies we've heard of before and we trust as long-standing brands, including Johnson & Johnson, Lowe's, Cincinnati Financial, 3M Company, Emerson Electric, Genuine Parts, Dover Corporation, Parker Hannifin, Procter & Gamble, Northwest Natural Holding, and American States Water Company. You'll notice that these dividend yields, though, are relatively low, which is what we expect with dividend champions. Most of them are not going to have a high dividend yield. If you'd like to take a closer look at this dividend stock spreadsheet, make sure to check out the link in the description below so you can get access to this spreadsheet along with all of the other spreadsheets I use on my channel, in addition to being up to date on any trades I make in my own portfolios same day. If you like this video, make sure to check out this one right over here because it's really going to add a lot of value for you and helping you to know how to pick the right dividend stocks for your portfolio. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Have a great rest of your day and please continue to stay healthy both physically and financially. Have a good one.